38 Studios, founded by former baseball pitcher Curt Schilling, was a video game development company that initially aimed to create immersive and ambitious gaming experiences. However, things didn't go as planned. After they loaned $75 million from the state of Rhode Island, they couldn't repay the debt and were not able to continue operating. So today, I'm going to talk about what happened to the studio and what caused one of the worst downfalls in history. Curt Schilling is a former baseball player who came up with an idea of his own gaming studio. In 2006, he announced this plan to his 6 friends while playing games and chatting online. All of them agreed to join without hesitation. Immediately, the company leased 30,000 square meters of office space in Maynard, a town in Massachusetts, at a historic old mill building, then called Clock Tower Place. A press release formally announced the creation of Green Monster Games in September 2006. The president and CEO of the company was Brett Close, and the CTO was John Love, formerly of Electronic Arts. However, after some time, they decided to relocate to the state of Rhode Island after they loaned $75 million from them. But about this later. In 2007, the company was renamed from Green Monster Games to 38 Studios, because some people were concerned about the fact that Green Monster is a nickname for the left field vault at Fenway Park, which is a baseball stadium located in Boston. So after this, the name was changed as a symbol to Schilling's dress number. In 2008, the company hired Travis McGeady, a former lead designer for Sony Online Entertainment's EverQuest. On May 27, 2019, 38 Studios acquired Rise of Nations developer Big Huge Games from THQ, a California-based video game developer and publisher. On August 21st, 38 Studios announced that CEO Brett Close had left the company, and that Jennifer McLean, former SVP of Business Development, had been named the new CEO. Although no games have been released, in 2010, the Rhode Island Corporation approved a $75 million loan guarantee to 38 Studios for exchange of 550 new jobs for the state and their relocation to Rhode Island in 2011. Nevertheless, people weren't happy about the fact that this action is funded from their taxes. As time progressed, the studios started to finalize their first and last game, Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, a single-player action role-playing game that was released in 2012. The game was developed by 38 Studios and Big Huge Games, and featured the talents of fantasy author R.A. Salvatore, artist Todd McFarlane, and designer Ken Ralston. The game is set in the Felands, a region of fantasy world Amalur, where the player character is the first to be rescued from death by a device called the Well of Souls. The game allows the player to customize their character's skills, abilities, weapons, and armor, and choose from various destinies that affect their gameplay style. The game also includes several downloadable content packs that add new quests, areas, and items. The game received positive reviews from critics who praised its combat system, graphics, and lore, but also criticized its story, voice acting, and lack of innovation. The game sold over 1 million copies in the first 90 days, but it was not enough to prevent the bankruptcy and closure of 38 Studios and Big Huge Games later that year. The game's intellectual property was acquired by THQ Nordic in 2008, and a remastered version called Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning was released in 2020, along with a new expansion called Fate Swarm. The state of Rhode Island became very concerned over 38 Studios' finances after the company defaulted on a $1.1 million loan payment on May 1st, when the check was returned due to insufficient funds, and asked for further help from the state. The second payment attempt by the studio on May 18, 17 days past the initial due date, and in the form of $1 million wire transfer and a $100,000 personal check from an unnamed source, was successful. However, the company failed to repay the loan and defaulted in 2012 after releasing its only game, Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, which sold well but not enough to cover the cost. The company filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in June 2012, leaving behind more than 1,000 unpaid creditors and hundreds of laid-off employees. The company's assets were liquidated and sold to various buyers, including THQ Nordic, which acquired the rights to Kingdom of Amalur: Reckoning and its unfinished sequel, project companies. The bankruptcy of 38 studios also spurred a legal dispute and criminal investigation involving the company, its executives, and the state of Rhode Island. The state sued 38 studios and its executives for fraud and breach of the contract, claiming that they misled the state about the financial viability of the company and the risks of the loan deal. The case was settled in 2017, with the state recovering about $61 million from various defendants, including Schilling, who agreed to pay $2.5 million without admitting any wrongdoing. No criminal charges were filed against anyone involved in the deal, but the state and federal authorities conducted a probe into the company's activities and the loan agreement, which was kept secret from the public. The governor of Rhode Island announced in 2020 that she would seek the release of the documents from the state grand jury investigation into the deal, which had been kept secret. Last of all, I have to talk about the fate of 38 studio employees. For many people, it meant not only losing their job, but also their entire career, because they were not able to bounce back from the shock. However, most of the people were very good at their jobs and were able to find new jobs and continue their career. Looking back at 38 studios, let's not forget the personal side. The stories of individuals whose work lives were turned upside down by factors beyond their control. Their experiences remind us of the real consequences that come with the rise and fall of ambitious ventures in the ever-changing gaming industry. This is the end of the story of one of the most ambitious and unsustainable plans in the history of gaming. As you saw, the state of Rhode Island is recovering from these actions to this day. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Santaur and I make YouTube mini documentaries. If you enjoyed my video, you can support me through a buy me a coffee link in the description or by liking this video. See you on the next one.